Yeah, buddy. Yes, yo, you don't stop, Big John. Come rocking a short shot. Welcome back. Cold Prepared HQ. Fastest show in MLB. Absolutely anywhere. Take that one to the bank. Baseball's version of Sparta. We give to the book nothing and take from them everything. Yeah, baby. Grab the spear. Grab the shield. Get ready to form the phalanx and make some money. BGC, Crypt Zombie, what's up? Mi gente. Really appreciate you. Really, just some of the followership or viewership. I hate the like, right? Because we're all equals here. Man, second to none, shortest comments section anywhere on the web. All right, we got 2 games. We are all winding down. It's championship series time. I'm so torn. I think a lot of baseball fans go through this, right? All of us degenerates, right? One of us. We get these really bad reputations online and in public for just not caring, right? You're so cold, you only care about your bets. Yeah, we care about our bets. But a lot of us are baseball fans. I feel like in baseball especially. You have a team, they probably stink. It's really hard to win a World Series, and that makes, the rest of the games a lot of fun. But for me, as a big-time Yankee fan, who kind of went through a lot, they stunk when I was very little. They looked the worst. Well, the Mets were good. They would go through a run. The Yankees start really playing great, and then the entire world becomes a fan of them, which kind of watered it down. Then they go through the evil empire thing, try to buy titles. It doesn't work. Right, so we've all had our up and down. I'm not used to the Yankees really not being in the dance. They deserve it. That's what you get when you suck. When you suck, trading away viable pitching like Jordan Montgomery for a broken foot Harrison Bader that you released. Just god awful. You get what you deserve. Not to make this a Yankee show, but more about the people and how we react to it. But that's what I've been hearing a lot of it lately is I love the games, I love the excitement, but man, it's hard to watch, and it feels that way. If you were watching that game yesterday, it's so funny. The box score just doesn't do any of it justice. It was Texas, they take a 1-game lead. They play game 2 today. Brian E., what's up? And the National League starts today. We're going to jump into both games. But you guys know me, right? I'm not here to veneer anything and, coat anything, whitewash it. You tell me, what do you use to break down the championship series? Guys gave us 160, 80 innings in the regular season. That now pretty much feels like irrelevant. Because it's the playoffs, man. It's the playoffs. It's a totally different animal. The numbers are hard to grab. They're broken as far as timing goes. Really wonky stuff. But hopefully we'll get you a couple plays. We have not had the most successful playoffs. I've always been more of a regular season veteran. Again, right? The lessons that we go over, the things we talk about. Hopefully the honesty that I'm kind of portraying is there's 7 billion opportunities to bet on baseball. You don't really need to force the best games, right? Marquee pitching matchups and great offenses. Where's the edge here? Granted, if you got a sniff on a total or something you go for it. I'm not saying you should not bet it. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you can't attain edge. But I will say, gosh, man, I know a lot about this stuff. Right? We have handicapped together, you and I, me and you, the Cold and Pen crew, 5,000 baseball games. Fine, forget the weekends when we're not on. I still did my alcohol stuff Saturdays. I got to be north of 4,000. The opportunities are there, and I'd rather go for better pricing with, better edge with less attention on the games. But to that last one, and then we'll move on, so Bregman is up with a man on in the 9th. He does what he does best in Houston is try and pull a ball into the Crawford boxes. And this is where I'm telling you the box scores just don't do it justice. He destroyed that ball. If you know about the Crawford boxes, right, it's left field, and there's a very hard cutout, right? It's a very hard cutout in left field, brings in that fence, and if you're a dead pull hitter, oh, Rob D, what's up, kid? It helps, right? It pads the home run stats a little bit, right? Dead pull hitters are going to thrive in Houston. My gosh, I mean, it was probably 5 feet off that corner, which means she's probably like a half a degree of spray pulled more. That game is tied in the ninth, and then who knows? But Texas wins it 1-0. Really kind of exciting stuff. And again, I mean, right? That's what I was talking about. I'm like on the edge of my seat. I'm going, what? I don't care. I kind of dislike the Astros. You know, from a baseball standpoint, analytically, very strong. Tim York, good morning. I like the, I like the way the Stros do it. It's pitching and it's hitting. They got Jordan Alvarez, very likable. I don't. It's just Yankee fan, the garbage pail thing, kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Altuve with the shirt rubbed me the wrong way. I'm not an Astro fan, but I find myself just rooting for like this playing baseball. Hard not to root for the Rangers getting Max Scherzer back. Not today, but he should be back. They're really feeling. It's just feeling right. There's something about that in the playoffs. That's what I mean. You never heard me say that in 6 months. Not missing a single day. Me and Jay Bird on the ones and twos, best producer in the game. 130 some odd shows in a row. And you literally never heard me say that. It's about the juice. It's about the narrative. Who slept good? But that's what it feels like in the playoffs. All right, let's get into it. Texas again at Houston. Texas plus 110 dog on the road. It's Eovaldi against Framber Valdez. So, okay, here we go. Eovaldi is a perfect example of what I was talking about with the regular season stuff and how you have to throw it away. No. But coming into the playoffs, you mentioned the fastball, and it kind of degraded a little bit, and he lost some steam down the stretch, and we were worried about how that would carry over. Seemed pretty fair. Well, 13 2/3 later into the playoffs, 2 earned runs, 15 Ks without a single strikeout for Nasty Nate. Again, on the season, he showed us some love, right? The things that I look for, again, I wanted to frame that, have you start to think about it. Again, right, this show hopefully is a bit more immersive than the other ones. I'm not shooting off minus 250 plays that are stale or stupid. I don't commit myself to things I don't believe in and have you waste your money. It's not what we're about. No bet better than a bad bet. Hopefully, at the very least, I could leave you with analysis, maybe a feather in the cap, something to take with you going forward, and will help you execute if you want to bet. If you want that ticket, hopefully I could lay out some of the stuff that'll get you there. So, what we do look for in the playoffs, impact pitching. I call it money starts. That's why I've been doing it every show on the way out. Again, quality starts kind of dumb. Money starts much better. A money start is 7 innings minimum, 2 earned runs maximum. Right? The thing that moves the needles in the playoffs, the thing that gets it to the big arms in the bullpen, gives you the ability to even lefty-righty swap if you have the specialist. Right? So the things that matter. 10 quality starts out of 25, which is not great, but 5 of those were money starts for Eovaldi. So he's shown that. He also has 2 complete games this season. 9 strikeouts, twice. The velo was up for the playoffs, and that splitter is just killing it right now. 35 use, 36 whiff, which played out into the playoffs, I should say. That was the regular season. This was in the last game. I was just checking out under the hood what was going on. So Eovaldi had 29% CSW. That's cold strikes plus whiffs on 3 of his 4 pitches against Baltimore. Funny enough, the one that he didn't was the curveball, which is probably his best pitch, or at least was during the season. If you remember, we use usage, X-slug, and whiff rate, deployment, contact quality, swing and miss ability to describe individual pitches. There's no perfect way. What about movement, RPM? See, I know, but you can't do it all. My mouth's only so big, right? But anyway, 13 use, 230 X-slug, 42 whiff. I mean, it's ridiculous. A 230 expected slug, boop, plus 40 whiff. I mean, Eovaldi looking like the best version of himself. I was doing a little bit of digging. My man Rob Friedman at Pitching Ninja, who I've been lucky enough to have him on, speak to him once a year. Really one of my favorite shows of the years because he's the man. Just self-branding. He's brilliant. Cuts his own path. So he actually put out a little video on Eovaldi, one of those kind of overlay things that he does so well. So I would just point you to that at Pitching Ninja. That's Rob Friedman on Twitter. But basically, you're seeing a mechanical shift, a slight one, right? Kind of straighter shoulder and loading up the hip a little bit more. And he's getting big time results. Nate mentioned it, right? So when you hear them talk about it, and then you see it visibly with brilliant people like Rob kind of laying it out for us, that's when, that second half stuff that I was talking about, OPMG, Wagwan, that second half stuff kind of goes out the window, right? We always want the larger sample. No one is saying that, but you got to look at the playoffs a little bit differently. And again, in particular, the reason why we're more willing to jump on pitchers in small samples is because they can make that kind of change, right? So keep an eye on that for Eovaldi. The straighter shoulder with the loaded hip has been everything for him, and you're seeing it reflected in the control. He hasn't walked on that batter, man. So Houston offense, second half versus righties, very good, right? Top 3 in average, top 3 in OBP, OPS, and all-important K rate. Very hard to strike out. Also really great to be able to combine those things, right? When you're combining a top OPS with a top K rate, you're really doing something right. Top 5 WRC+. Now, versus Eovaldi this season, again, you know me, man. I'm out here trying to do some work so you don't have to. Trying not to do too much BVP stuff, but you're at the point, this is what we got, right? So Altuve was 2 for 5. 20% barrel rate, hit 2 homers. So if you like anybody on Houston, it's got to be Altuve. He's the key. And I guess it makes sense if he's going to lead off to set the table. Though, on that play that I mentioned, that missed pulled shot from Bregman that could have tied the game, Altuve, I guess, was a little bit more certain than he should have been, which I don't really get. Because if that thing falls, you're scoring. I think you're scoring kind of from second, but I guess he knows better than me. But he missed second on the comeback and got thrown out. So Altuve, is a super cerebral player and like a hard-nosed playoff kind of dude. I would think he's going to be out looking sharp, but that would be my pick. I don't even know if I want to bet it. You want to bring up the Altuve total base prop, Jay? I mean, if we go for like a buck on stuff, I said this is all stuff I'm like, ugh. I mean, you get plus 150, which is really not bad, but you need 2 bases. And Eovaldi's just been sick. I mean, he's hit him pretty good. If you want to drop a buck on a plus 150 like that, I guess we can go. I want to keep it really toned down. Again, I never want to mislead, and I want to make sure, as strict as I am, I'm putting out stuff that I'll go and bet on it, right? I put my money on this stuff too. But unless I print it and pump it, it's not the 500 or whatever I would normally put on something. It's significantly less. But I am riding with you, of course. You know that. And then Tucker had a 333 batting average, but a 33% hard hit rate and a 286 expected WOBA, which is not great. Again, we're talking about like a single game here. Just whatever. They haven't really hit him hard, and he's looked awesome. Other side, Framber Valdez, we kind of nailed that. He did not match up well against those Twinkies. He went 4 1/3, gave up 7 hits, 5 Ks, 3 walks. The career playoff stuff is very good. Just over 73 innings to a 3.82 ERA, 1.26 WHIP, but that's 67% ground ball. Just ridiculous. 67% ground ball. He's so impossible to lift. Last time out, he really struggled. The sinker to change in the curve. Nothing induced more than 4 whiffs. And each one of those pitches got hit at least 103 miles an hour off the bat. So they all kind of missed and got hit hard. But he did face Texas 3 times. Versus Texas, went 6, gave up 1, struck out 7, walked 2. Versus Texas, went 3 2/3, gave up 6, 1 strikeout, walked 2. At Texas, went 7, gave up 1, struck out 4, walked 4. Again, not great. So you got at 1, the porridge too hot, the porridge too cold, and then 1 right in the middle. I'd like to think Framber's going to get it going. I think that's where my stance is. Check it out. It's been Texas's inability to hit lefties. They really haven't hit lefties well. They're a very good right-hand hitting team, which will help get you places. Might be something we see manifested in the numbers. I'm going to dig into this in the offseason. Hitting right-handers is good. But we might find there might be certain elements underneath there that might kind of be very helpful, right? That might portend success, let's say, for teams. Minnesota built this really great fastball hitting team, right-handed fastball hitting team. Then at the end of the year, start plugging in some lefties, right? Warner and Julien to complete the work. Texas, I'm a bit more worried about. Sorry, I had the projected lineup and I closed it. Yeah, it's just been a rough go. They've really struggled against. They've all just struggled against lefties. All right, check it out. Second half versus lefties. Texas Rangers second half versus lefties. 229 batting averages, second to worst, 29th in the league, and the rest was kind of meh. Grossman's numbers were popping. I don't even know if you're gonna see Robert Grossman. I maybe. I guess actually my projected lineup has been third. I guess he's probably back third against lefties down the stretch. So Grossman at 12-15 OPS against lefties second half, which is fantastic. Adolis at 915, huge drop off, right? And then no one else above like 850. Texas really just kind of meh. In those games that I mentioned, right? Framber produced pretty well. Simeon homered, low homered in that middle game, right? But also Heim hit him hard. Those three, Simeon, Low, Heim, had a 400 expected WOBA versus Framber. But I think this is when I think I like the Astros today. Jay, what's the best price we can get on like an Astros money line? I saw minus 120. Money's starting to kind of come in slowly. Yeah, okay, so that's where it is. But again, you know what? While Jay, you might as well clear your throat, homie. Right, we've been using BetStamp all year. Again, you know me, as much as I want to break down these two games and win a couple bets, more importantly, right, I want to leave you with the things that matter, right? The stuff that you'll look back and say, wow, I really want the show back. Maybe when it's off the air, I'll tweet Rob Pizzola and tell him how good a job we're doing. But we're using BetStamp because, again, people, yeah, pricing matters so much. What's the first thing you notice? It's what I say to him. Check and see if it's at this price. You don't want to just be chasing stuff. I'm telling you, running juice, individual bets over like 160, 170 when you're paying that stuff. It slants the win-loss percentage. Also, BetStamp's so good with understanding directionality. But Jay will tell you the rest about it, man.
Yeah, for sure, John. I got you here. If you're looking to improve as a sports bettor, we find the easiest way to do so is to have multiple books and to always get the best odds. We recommend using an odds comparison tool like BetStamp to get the best odds on everything. BetStamp compares odds across every sports book, including games, player props, and futures. Save time, save money. Download the app today. And if you're looking to support the show, head over to betstamp.app/call to the pen. If you sign up through that page, it helps support the show here. Now back to John.
Thanks, Jay. Awesome job as always. Yeah, I was thinking about it. Yeah, so let's get Altuve bases with Houston when I think Houston gets to bounce back today. Though, you know, it's going to be rough. I just think we maybe have the upper hand on the pitching side. Maybe Texas falls flat. Houston on the bounce back. Framber has kind of got it done. Has been pretty good against Texas. But like I said, I do worry. I want to filibuster some of the pitching props. You know, that's where I've kind of found some edge actually in the playoffs that I've really liked. They're both at 4.5 strikeouts. Okay, I think I like. Oh, here's one. It's juiced up, but again, you know, I was saying that's how they get you in trouble. I kind of sound like a shenanigans now. Jay, if you didn't lock in the Astros win, I tell you the one I like most, and it's going to be juiced up. But again, I think you got to pay it because I'd rather win than anything. They're both listed at 14.5 outs. I wonder if you could parlay. If you parlay those, I would. If not, I definitely like. I mean, Framber is at 14.5 outs. Again, he faced Texas 3 times. He went 6 innings all 3 times. You know, Framber Valdez is. You know, me check the log just so I'm not throwing it off. Because again, if we're paying juice, we got to make sure that the probability is there. And again, right, I mentioned directionality. The market you see there is a 15 out there. I wouldn't be surprised if this one's moving. 14.5 feels extremely low for Valdez. Maybe that again, that's probably just because he got smoked. I don't really worry about that stuff. I don't maybe it's to my own detriment. 31 starts from Valdez. He completed 5 innings or more 28 times. So 28 out of 31, which is roughly like 90%. Though one of the 3 was against Texas. William Craig says, sounded like a no bet on the side to me. Don't hear the enthusiasm. I hear you. I wouldn't. I'd rather pay the juice on the Framber 14.5 outs minus 170 than pay the minus 120 for the win that I don't have any confidence in. Evaldi is so nasty. So, Jay, if we didn't lock in You want to go with the Eovaldi over 14.5? JIC highlighted it, which generally is a hand. I would do that also. I actually like both. I like both of those better than I like the Houston side. So William Craig kind of stiffed me out. Hopefully it didn't come out as a fraud, but that's, man, it's part of it, right? You do a betting show. We're supposed to be giving out bets, and sometimes I feel weird not doing that. So I'm glad that I brought up the props because those I do really feel good about. I think you're getting 5 innings from both of these guys because I think it's going to be a slog either way. But I do like the Altuve bases. And other than that, probably the under in all these games. But again, I'm not there. So let's go with the outs and the outs. I like that, Jake. Let's do that. And the plus money on the Altuve one to win 1.5. And then let's move it on. Yeah, I'm just really worried. I think Framer's gonna shove today. Like that was my boy, but what is that? I guess it's a little bit of everything. He does have the playoff track record, though this last one was bad. He has a larger sample that's very good with a lot of distance against his team in particular. I mean, they smoked him once, but who hasn't Texas beaten up one? So, all right, let's go. I feel pretty good about the length there. 5 innings. I think both of them are going 5. They've both been really sharp. All right, next up. Can't believe it's just 2 games. Remember we were doing 15 of these a day? Arizona and those snakes with shapes on their back plus 145 dog on the road against the Fighting Phils Broad Street Bullies. Minus 120 favorite Zach Wheeler on the mound. For PHI. Let's go Zach Gallen. So far in the playoffs, went 6, gave up 2, struck out 4, walked 3. And we kind of were going up against him in that first one. He gave up 2. That was in that first inning, and like since then, he's been really darn good. We know he likes Gallen. Second one, 5 in the third. Gave up 2. Struck out 4, walked 2. Not great. Arizona was being very, careful. But I think they might have had a lot of runs on the board, if I'm not mistaken, in that game. The fastball is up a mile an hour against the Dodgers, so Gallen's feeling good. The 4-seamer, the knuckle curve, and the change each had a 30 CSW in that game. Right, exactly where you want it to be. On the season, right, we know the curve and the change are so good. 367 max, X-lug minimum, 31 whiff. So when the fastball is good for Gallen, that's going to kind of resonate that butterfly effect, right? You drop the pebble in a pond and watch the circles go. That's going to have that positive effect. When Gallen's right, he's obviously one of the better, best pitchers in the league. We know he struggled a touch on the road. Like his ERAs, I think I have it here. I think it's 4.4 opposed to like maybe 2.9 or even 3 or something. But a lot of the underpinning stuff is just not, it was not there. So I'm really not too worried about the splits at all. Everything checked out for me, more or less. It wasn't really anything that I was too worried about. So it's looking like wheels up for Gallen. 20 quality starts during the year. He had 10 money starts, right? 1 complete game shutout, 10 strikeouts 5 times, right? So that's how I like to look at pitchers going into the playoffs. How often, right? Can they move the needle? Do they move the needle? How often did they move the needle? What are the chances they're going to move the needle? Right, so Gallen is that guy. He's a mover. He's a needle mover. A movable needle. Jesus, help us all. Just the engine's starting to sputter, right? It's like we're trying to crash land this thing, launch pad McQuack style. Middle of October. We got just a couple weeks left, Jay. I can't believe it. What a ride, man. Made it all the way in. I was trying to, as much as I want to promote, I hate being that person's begging for likes and reviews and stuff before they've earned it. So I figured if I waited this long and I asked for it, maybe I would have earned it. This show is free. If it's free, it's for me. So stick your thumb inside me. That cartoon finger means more than it should. Cartoon bell means more than it should. 5-star reviews on like podcast stuff is there's nothing like it. It's so dumb. Remember, put it on my tombstone. It's all so dumb. It's all so stupid. It's all so stupid. The more you kind of understand the nuance of what that means, it's really going to help you in life. Hopefully something else that you get from this show. Way to think and premiums. We talk about application, risk management, and stuff like that. Being aggressive, being malleable, trying to be humble. Though it is important to be confident and probably toe the line of arrogance, and then surround yourself with good people that will help you rein it in, right? You don't want people keeping you from that line because that's how you kind of push the edge. All right, let's finish it up. Stug, what's up? Do you ever do ladder strikeouts and hits? Well, it's probably a touch late now. But we were sniffing around that with the daily K leader Jay and I were like, you could see the smoke coming out. We knew we were onto something. But I'm telling you, when you got to produce the show and all the work, and once it's moving, to try and shift and pivot because there's so little time with all the data, that's definitely something we want to look at, especially on the if they're going to do daily K leader again. Long story short, we were trying to hit that daily strikeout leader. You know, Jay's really great with understanding the board, right? If you learned anything from him, it's that right. You don't just blindly follow it, but you lean on the books as a flashlight. The books are the flashlight, right? Where is the value? Then compare the pricing, right? That's when we really started noticing it. It's like, wait a minute, this guy's plus 1,000 to be the strikeout leader. His 10 strikeout prop would be plus 950. Let's say something very equivalent where it's going to take you 10 or 11 to win. You might as well bet that, right? So then I noticed what some of the more popular Discords are doing. My man Joke at BTP was doing this, right? Yo, man, I elevate people. I promote. I don't steal nothing. I noticed that. And maybe they were listening to this stuff. Maybe it was just in my sheets. I don't know. But the point being is there is something there to the strikeouts in particular. And then we had Matty Williams on, who's excellent with this stuff. Talking about the low bar and finding it's similar to what I do with the receptions in NFL. You're looking for pitchers that are going to, pay up a ladder that only needs 7 or 8, right? I'm not the type to chase that Strider up to 14. I'm the type to chase, Reed Detmers up to 8 or, whatever, indiscriminate pitcher or whatever. So thank you for joining up, Stuck. Appreciate you. And you can hit us up with questions anytime, people, at John Laghezza on the Bird app. I'm here for you. I appreciate it, man. If you listen to the show and you drop it in the lingo, I'll know right off the bat, you get pushed right to the front because you are one of us. All right, back into the games. So I really tend to like Down. Although, man, these Phillies are just built for the playoffs, right? All the big-time hitters, the big-time pitching, and they've gotten just enough from the bullpen. Excellent second half versus righties. Harper, Turner, Schwarber, all with the 900 OPS down the stretch. Again, this one feels like a dogfight. Something if you follow the show through the year, meaning 3-2. This one's 4-3. 3-2. 4-2. 4-3. Meaning it's decided by a hair. It's going to be a play here or a play there. I'm not going to pretend to know what's going to happen. But also, not say those are the games to avoid, right? But maybe not enough strikeouts are there for your ladder prop. And maybe not enough offense is there to start going total bases, hit runs for bees. Not enough offense is there to be, DFSing and all that stuff or doing underdog parlay props and stuff. Which, again, why is I'd rather bet on the regular season because there are more opportunities. And I don't feel pigeonholed into a spot that I don't really like. This being a spot I don't really like. Gallon's really good, so is the Philly offense. I mean, it's just not much of a surprise. Second half, the disappointing basket for the Phillies really, it's the kind of stuff that I want to see if I can put this properly. Right? They have some strikeouts, 24% Ks, probably average, maybe a little bit worse in the league, second half. But the double-digit walk rate, the high line drive rate, the hard hit rates, and the barrel rates, right? So those are the things when we mention good disciplinary metrics, they have to lead into good contact quality or just contact at all. Because you could stand there with the bat in your shoulder, take a ton of walks, and maybe not strike out. But you're not really doing much. The Phillies are that team when you see the high walk rate, but the high barrel rate is kind of selectivity, and it also stretches pitchers. You're forcing them in the zone. We know, as good as Gallon is, anybody can get hit by these Phils. So now on the other side, you got Wheeler. I mean, he looks like a freaking goat right now. If you told this guy he's the best pitcher on the planet, I don't know if anybody would disagree. He went 6 2/3 in the first game in the playoffs. Gave up 1, struck out 8, walked none. Then 6 2/3, gave up 2, struck out 10, walked 1. Versus Atlanta, I mean, the sweeper had a 42 CSW. The curveball had a 50 CSW. It had an 80% whiff rate. When he's spinning that curve, and we mentioned it, Wheeler at home, Wheeler at home, Wheeler at home. And then I won't do all the conspiratorial stuff with the ball again. But when I have a pitcher that has an off-speed pitch that we think of as being erratic, but then you find out that they have kind of wicked home road splits. Sometimes I just, frog DNA, Jurassic Park, where fill in the spots. I'll frog DNA it where like, that was it. The curveball performed well at home. So I think Wheeler's numbers on the road might have been a little bit better. In ERA is stupid. I did this dive earlier on. Wheeler set at 16.5 outs, Gallen at 15.5. Oh man, that's tough. I don't know how man. I kind of like the Gallen 16.5, although I feel like Matt used to tell me to avoid those for whatever reason. So I gotta get. Wait, we're 16.5 is 5 2/3 from Gallen. Let's take a look. I mean, from Wheeler, my bad. That's what I get for doing this stuff. I should have ranked it before. Gallen 15.5, Wheeler 16.5. Sorry, that is correct in case I had misspoke. Man, Jay, I think we got to go with the Wheeler outs. It's hard not to. Again, I'm bucking it, man. I don't know if I'm buying what the Diamondbacks are selling on offense. I feel like we just might have seen the spurt. I'm going with the Phils. I actually think I don't know if you could bet this. I think the Phillies just kill the Diamondbacks. Like kill them. Like if I could look for a sweep, I think I might bet that, like, honestly, like for some wicked stuff. It would depend on the pricing. I don't see it right now. Jim Pine, welcome, man. Always great to see new faces in the comment section at this time of year. You can't even understand what it means to us, as most baseball shows are wrapping it up or giving up. No one cares. Or you could tell they're not doing any kind of hard work or analysis. They're, feet up and just joking about stuff, doing all subjective. Man, I knew I was going to come with some narrative stuff, so I wanted to bring some heat. Jim, super sharp, got down 14.5 on Saturday. Oh, now that's what I want. That's how I feel about the Framber and Eovaldi ones. I know there are quick hooks in the playoffs. I just don't. Those guys, we're getting to the point now. This is wheat from the chaff. These are the very best in the bigs, and they're sharp. Jim says, glad to be here. Really appreciate you, man. Oh, bet the Phillies to sweep at plus 950. Read my mind. If I could find it, I would take that at plus 950. I'm just not buying it. I'm sorry. I think the Diamondbacks run was awesome. I think these baby snakes have a super bright future. I think Corbin Carroll's one of the best players in the league. I love Zach Gallen. He's on all my fantasy teams. Like, I do not want to shortchange him or be bad-mouthing this team. That said, I think the run is over. I think it starts today. I think Wheeler smushes them, and then they just come back to life. In the playoffs, Corbin Carroll, Moreno, Walker, and Marte have a 985 OPS or better. Pavin Smith and Lourdes Gurriel hit home runs off Wheeler in the regular season. Marte, Gurriel, and Moreno have a plus 480 expected WOBA. If you are the ultimate contrarian, those are the guys. Jim also got Phillies at 5 at plus 520. I like that also. You know me, I love to combine Jim super sharp, man. Really appreciate this, because I like when people, again, write about malleability, and I may have like the soapbox and kind of professorial, but I'm all about the open door. It swings both ways. I love to build futures tickets where any hit is a nice profit. That's so key to betting, in my opinion at least. You feel good about something, you go get it. Yeah, the sweep. Listen, it's 10-1. There's a reason it's 10-1. But man, I really like that to back it up with the plus 520 if you could find those. I'm going to go look for those also. OPMG says, underlying indicators for the Diamondbacks have been incredible all season. Oh, I think you might like the Diamondbacks offense more than I do. I'm telling you, this is the stuff that just resonates for me. Again, doesn't make me right. I don't know if it makes me wrong. We'll find out. I mentioned struggles early, the split struggles with Texas. Way more pronounced with the Diamondbacks. Bottom 5 expected WOBA versus righty second half. I mean, this is a monster sample. Arizona with a 295 expected WOBA versus righties. 5.5 barrel rate as a team down the stretch. Disciplinary stuff is strong. 44 ground ball, sub 40 pull. I'm sorry. Unless you got something I'm not seeing. The disciplinary stuff, sure, I will grant you that. The disciplinary stuff for the Diamondbacks has been very strong. They've been able to turn it into a very high quality of contact, and that's been the predication for the success, and I get it. I don't know if you get that versus Wheeler, and I would definitely have to push back that the advanced stuff I think is poor. I mean, sub 300 expected WOBA second half. I don't know. I guess maybe I could have looked at like a last 30. Again, I'm right. I'm not trying to. You're wrong. I don't see it. And I was looking at the big sample, but who's right now? Those Diamondbacks look like not to be messed with. Again, I think Wheeler puts the foot on the throat, and then I think that just kind of tails off. Right, Gallen is the strong suit. The Dodgers just kind of wet the bed. I mean, you know what happens in small samples? The best hitters, Betts and Freeman, which they are, can fall apart. It happens. The Phillies not built like that. It's again subjective, stupid narrative stuff. They're just built for this. Yeah, Bryce Harper is built for this shit, man. He really is. Attitude, Turner baller, Trey Turner baller. Plus, he already kind of come off his the tie in one of our favorite lessons. Oh, I heard Jay mention this on his show. Sine waves. Take something away from the show for the season. Sine waves. Things happen in waves. They don't happen in perpetuity in either direction. Ups and downs. Trey Turner, who we know is objectively one of the best players of this generation. Right? Easily in the last decade. Everything backs it up. Analytics, statistics, plus, anecdotal stuff. He went through the worst half you could ever imagine. What did you think the bounce back was going to be like? Right now, Philly's just hitting on all cylinders. The aces are pitching well. I don't see how the Diamondbacks can roll with them. They need this game, though. They get this game. It obviously is a big help. But I think the Diamondbacks absolutely need this game. I don't think the Phillies need this game. I think the Phillies are going to be a favorite every single game of the series. So that'll do it. We got some pitching props. I like that. I'm into it. See, it took me the whole season to kind of warm up to them. Jay, do us all a favor, and because I was a little kind of disjointed a bit today. Just show everybody again what we got. Did you hit the Wheeler one? I wanted the Wheeler one for sure. I think Wheeler's going 6, yo. So Jay, I'll scroll it for you. I'm not reading them out anymore because if you're on audio and looking for the video, you go over to YouTube your darn self. Make sure you press the like button while you're over there because it really matters more than it should. Really matters more than it should. So from Jay and Jay, we do appreciate you for jumping on with us. We'll be back every day that there are games, bringing you that smoke and hopefully at least a handful of bets to get you paid in the shade and laid like an egg. Hey, like that one. So enjoy the games. Enjoy your day. When we're done with the book, enjoy the pay. We will be back tomorrow. Game 2 of the National League is on regardless. We'll be back with a single game breakdown with your favorite host. So enjoy it, baby. And remember, when you work this hard, there's a lot less like luck, yo. Peace out.